Today's lesson is over domain and range of continuous graphs. So continuous graphs, remember, they are connected graphs. It's important to remember that they are connected. If you have to put your pencil on a paper and drag it anywhere, whether it's a straight line, curved line, circle, that is a continuous graph. The opposite of continuous is discrete. Discrete means unconnected, isolated dots like this. So if you see dots on the graph that are not connected by a line, that is discrete. So we're not talking about discrete domain and range. We're talking about continuous. For a domain, you're going to scan your pencil left to right along the x-axis. So remember, the x-axis goes left to right. So this is what I mean. So x-axis left to right. I'm going to scan to the left. I see an arrow. So arrow is going to mean infinity. In this case, it's going to be negative infinity because it's going to the left towards the negative numbers. Then I'm going to scan my pencil to the right. I see another arrow. So that means positive infinity because it's going to the right, which is towards the positive numbers. And that's how you do domain. So the basic setup for a domain is a number is less than x, which is less than another number. Okay, range, you're going to scan your pencil bottom to top along the y-axis. So y-axis is up and down, vertical. So you're going to scan your pencil to the bottom of the graph. Here the graph stops at -1, -2. Scan to the top of the graph. At the top I see an arrow. So remember, arrows mean infinity. So the basic setup for range is the same basic setup. You have a number, it's less than y, which is less than another number. So you would think that you would put -2 here and infinity here, but we don't want to mix up a number and an infinity. So when you have one number and one arrow, you're going to set it up like this. Y, and then you put the number that you have. Now you have to think about what goes in the middle. Is it going to be a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to? Since these arrows are pointing up, it's going to be greater than or equal to. Okay, number 2, domain, scan left, scan right. I'm going to scan to the left. I have a circle. The circle stops at this number. So I'm going to draw a line through it and I'm going to write the number that it stops. -1, -2, -3. I'm going to scan to the right, and I'm going to draw a line where the circle stops. It stops at 1, 2, 3. So remember the basic setup for a domain. Put the number here, less than x, less than another number. Now, because these are actual numbers, I'm going to put the equal to sign under it because it does actually go through -3 and +3. For infinity, I did not put the equal sign under it because it never actually reaches infinity. So range, same thing. Scan bottom to top. The bottom of the circle is -1, -2, -3. Top of the circle, 1, 2, 3. So here's my basic setup. The bottom is -3, y, the top is +3. That's my range. Okay. Number 3, the domain, left to right. So I'm going to scan to the left of the graph. I have an arrow. What do arrows mean? Infinity. If it's going to the left, that's negative infinity. Scan to the right, I have an arrow. Arrows mean infinity. Range. Scan bottom to top. Scan the bottom of the graph. At the bottom of this graph, I have an arrow. If the arrow is going towards the bottom, that's negative infinity. Scan the top has another arrow, positive infinity. Number 4, scan to the left, I have an arrow on the left, that's negative infinity. Scan to the right, have an arrow, that's positive infinity. Range, scan bottom to top. So at the bottom of the graph, I have an arrow. That means negative infinity. The top of the graph, I have a number that it actually stops at. 1, 2, 3, 4. It stops at positive 4. So remember what happens when you have an infinity or arrow in one direction and a number that it stops at in the other direction. You write the variable that you're talking about, range is y, and you write the one number that you have. Now look at the arrows. Would it be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to? Since the arrows are pointed down, it's less than or equal to. Okay, I want you to try to do 5 and 6, and when you come in class tomorrow, we'll check those.